What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. In this video I will be talking about a penny stock that has the potential to go on a huge run in the coming weeks. This is a must watch video where I will talk about not only the catalyst for this stock but also the risks involved. Ticker symbol AVTX is being talked about all over social media for the past few days, and in my opinion Avalo Therapeutics is about to go on a huge run, which I will discuss now. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, and if you like the content then give this video the thumbs up. Now there's a lot to discuss, so let's get into it. Avalo Therapeutics is a clinical stage biotechnology company focused on the treatment of immune dysregulation by developing therapies that target the light signaling network. Accumulating evidence points to the dysregulation of the light signaling network as a disease-driving mechanism in the autoimmune and inflammatory reactions in organs. Therefore, Avalo believes that reducing light levels can moderate immune dysregulation in many acute and chronic inflammatory disorders. The company has built a portfolio of innovative therapies to deliver meaningful medical impacts for patients in urgent need. The company's clinical candidates commonly have a proven rationale, biomarkers, and/or an established proof of concept to expedite and increase the probability of success. Before I talk about the company's pipeline and the upcoming catalysts, it's important to mention a few things. Now, although this is a penny stock that is trading at only 15 cents, that is nearly 100% above its 52-week low that it hit in September. But AVTX stock has been trading far higher than this all year, as we can see here. The stock dropped massively in June, losing approximately 90% of its value in just one day. But in recent weeks, trading volume for this stock has gone up massively, and AVTX is all over social media right now. If you were part of any stock market groups on Discord, Facebook, or even Reddit, there is no doubt that you will have seen this stock mentioned a few times in the past couple of weeks, and there are good reasons. But like with all penny stocks, and especially with small biotech companies, there are huge risks that need to be assessed. Now, looking at the product pipeline, we can see that the company has two main product candidates, AVTX-002 and AVTX-008. There was a third product range, which will have a big impact, and I will talk about this later. But this graph from the investor's presentation shows just how effective this candidate has been over the treatment period. Now, I'm not a biomedical scientist, so I'm not going to go through this presentation, but I highly recommend that everyone goes over to their website and checks this presentation out. I've also put a link to this in the description below. And there has been some good news in recent weeks too. First of all, Avalo Therapeutics has successfully eliminated $35 million of debt, paving the way for future growth and innovation. In a major achievement, Avalo Therapeutics did announce the payoff of the remainder of its $35 million debt owed to Horizon Technologies Finance Corporation. Now, this is a significant milestone that not only signifies the company's steadfast commitment to financial stability, but also paves the way for future accelerated growth and progress towards executing its ambitious plans to advance its most promising drug candidates, which are AVTX-02 and AVTX-08. CEO Gary Neal importantly states that it is a pivotal moment for Avalo, signaling a readiness to embrace new opportunities. With a strengthened balance sheet, the company is well positioned to pursue collaborations, expand research efforts, and bring innovative treatments to the market. Additionally, we believe AVTX-008 has potential to be the best-in-class molecule. It addresses an increasingly recognized and important target for a variety of immune diseases, as evidenced by Gilead's $405 million acquisition of MiroBio. And this was a huge deal, as we can see here. So they acquired MiroBio for $405 million, stating that the scientific approach of MiroBio for immune balance restoration to treat autoimmune diseases complements the inflammation research and development works of Gilead. And this allowed them to acquire MB272, the lead investigational antibody of MiroBio, which was only in phase 1 clinical trials at the time. Another important point is that CEO Gary Neal was also involved in another huge deal like this within the past few years. Gary Neal was chairman of the board of Arena Pharmaceuticals when Arena was acquired by Pfizer back in 2022. Pfizer completed its acquisition of Arena for $100 per share in cash for a total equity valuation of approximately $6.7 billion. Now, I'm not saying that the same thing will happen again. It's just important to know a bit about the history of the management team at Avalo. This CEO has a long history with some of the world's leading pharmaceutical companies, such as Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, and Merck. And another huge move from Avalo in recent weeks was the decision to divest the AVTX 800 series in a deal with AUG Therapeutics. AUG will pay an upfront payment of $150,000 for each component, which means $450,000, and make contingent milestone payments of $15 million for a potential aggregate of $45 million if the first FDA approval is for an indication other than a rare pediatric disease, and AUG will assume up to $150,000 of certain liabilities incurred prior to the date of the purchase agreement and assume all costs relating to the 800 series. So this is a huge catalyst, and the transaction is expected to close in the fourth quarter of 2023. Remember that Avalo's market cap is only $20 million right now, so this deal will be worth multiple times the market cap of the company. But now, although this is all great, it is not all great news that I will talk about. There is also some huge issues that everyone needs to be aware of too. Firstly, the financials are not great. There is a share offering in the works right now, and there is a high likeliness of a reverse split coming. These points I will talk about in just a moment because these are hugely important, but the reason that Avalo has dropped so much in the first place must be mentioned. Back in June, Avalo dropped more than 90% of its value in just one day when AVTX-002 failed to meet primary endpoint in Phase 2 peak trial. However, AVTX-002 significantly reduced serum light levels for study duration indicating target engagement, and AVTX-002 showed a favorable product safety profile. So there is enough positivity for Avalo to feel like this is worth pursuing. After all, by divesting the 800 series, this allows Avalo to focus primarily on AVTX-002. As noted by management, while the trial did not meet its primary endpoint, we are intrigued and encouraged by the findings that there was a trend towards fewer asthma-related events in patients treated with AVTX-002 that had high serum baseline light levels. So first of all, because of Avalo's share price being so low, they are at risk of being delisted from Nasdaq. There is an annual meeting of stockholders to be held on December 5th, and one of the main focuses of this meeting will be a stockholder vote to approve an amendment to effect a reverse stock split of the company stock at a ratio of between 1:5 and 1:250 as determined by the board. So the higher the share price goes between now and then will affect how much of a reverse split that Avalo will have to do. Secondly, back in May, AVTX filed a prospectus to sell up to $15 million of common stock. As of August 4th, Avalo had sold nearly 9 million shares for approximately $8.3 million, leaving approximately $41.7 million remaining on this prospectus. So there is the potential that the company could potentially dilute shareholders by a lot. However, a higher share price means less dilutive effect. For example, at the current price of 15 cents, it could have a dilutive effect of over 278 million shares. But if the stock was to rise, this will be a lot less. Now, a lot of posts on social media are saying that this could go as high as $10. And this would mean dilution of only about 4 million shares. So a lot could happen in the coming weeks. A good point to note is that before the stock plummeted back in June, several analysts were covering Avalo stock, and the consensus price target was actually $10. So some positive news on AVTX-002 could see the stock skyrocket very quickly. And we have seen the same with stocks recently, such as Curix Pharmaceuticals, that ran from $1 up to over $7. And although I did miss this one, I did manage to make a nice profit on FEMY stock that ran from only 30 cents up to nearly $5. I exited this stock too soon, but still made a huge return. Now it looks like there are two stocks on the market that will be huge in the coming weeks: Avalo and Processa. Processa stock, which is Nasdaq ticker PCSA, is just beginning to run now, from only 18 cents last week up to 54 cents. I called this out a few days ago over on StockTwits just before it began to run, and I feel like it will go much higher. So follow me on StockTwits to see my latest predictions. The stock was only 23 cents when I said this, up 132% since then in just 2 days. So follow me on StockTwits, there is a link in the description below, and remember to like and subscribe to this channel too. All of this is completely free and it really helps the channel out. Finally, as I said earlier, there are some huge negatives to consider. And the last of these for me is the financials. Looking at the latest earnings report from August, we can see that the company had total assets of $24 million and total liabilities of $21 million. But they only had $6.3 million in cash and cash equivalents. While at the same time, Avalo is burning through approximately $7 million per quarter and therefore is not in a good financial position. However, it is important to note that since these financials, Avalo have greatly improved their balance sheet by removing $35 million of debt. And they are close to the sale of AVTX 800 series, which could potentially inject up to $45 million in cash. This would give Avalo a huge cash runway to work with. But not only that, a massively improved balance sheet, but it also means that the cost of R&D will be greatly reduced because they are no longer working on the AVTX 800 series. In my opinion, this alone is good reason to be very bullish about this stock in the short term, and any news in the coming weeks could see the stock skyrocket. This is of course just my opinion and it is not financial advice, but there is a lot of talk on social media right now about this stock, but always do your own due diligence. Remember that I am not a financial advisor. Doing your own due diligence is paramount when looking at these stocks. But if you enjoyed this analysis, then please like and subscribe. I hope you make lots of money on this stock. Subscribe and I'll catch you in the next video.